Hey, it's Christy or Astrolabe, as I have on this channel. It's Wednesday, January 25th of 2023, and I just wanted to chat about a couple things. I was thinking there might, for those who might be know of or involved with the Alana's Method folk, um, this is just a place that if you're interested, we could talk about more recovery centric things. My focus, I had alcohol use disorder for quite some time. And actually, it'll be 2 years this past June when I was at a poor place and asked my partner if I could come home and have been different ever since. So that's been pretty great and very magical. But that's anyway. I just wanted to have an environment for people for whom that might be relevant, that we could chat about stuff. Things I was thinking of talking about. Sometimes it seems like I enjoy doing my own ceremonies and spiritual practice things in very specific, discrete, concrete ways. It just helps me because still human, right? Still got the whole body thing. So I've been working a lot with sigils. And when I say that is a few years ago, I developed a phrase for myself that felt important to me. And it was, I joyfully celebrate my authentic self. It's like, I like that. That is my mantra. That is, if I am doing that, that feels like that is the best thing I can be doing. So there was a little company online called Sigil Daily. I gave them $10 in that phrase, and they sent me back a beautiful picture. It says sigils. And I was like, oh, now I can use this. And I draw it over me and I incant it. And I'm, I have quite literally knitted it into a double knit thing I'm working on. This is I don't know, it's going to be some kind of blanket. Anyway, so I have creatively, literally put the idea of the I joyfully celebrate my authentic self into an actual three-dimensional item, which that whole process I feel like is very creative as well. But that's because I've been a lifelong knitter and I like symbols and sigils and things like that. And obviously, I have a little art. I don't actually have the sigil on me, but you could find anything that is meaningful to you, or even a symbol of something that maybe you want to work with because you want to get away from it. I don't know, like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or something. I don't know. But you can just start thinking of the symbol and the power that it has and the energy that that can have as you draw it in the air, or you draw it on something, or make something with it, that you can set intentions with that and be very practical in a way that charges up your energy. So I just want to put that out there as something that might be a very three-dimensional plane type thing you can do if you're like you look at your tarot deck and you're like, yeah, that's just not as exciting as what I think I want to do, or I just you want something. My theme, a lot of what I'm doing this year is being my own guru. Now, I love watching some of my people, don't get me wrong. Um, I really do enjoy their um, energy work sessions like Starseed Energetics and um, uh, anyway, other people. Mystic Yesenia. I mean, you'll find your own folks. That's what also I've found is that if I find it and I set like I think I need to hear somebody's new voice, and if nothing comes, then I then interpret that as that means I need to listen to me. But if someone does come along, then that's really great. And I don't even know where I was going with that. Sorry, but that just thinking about leadership and guidance and really tuning into yourself to think what really speaks to me. So I'm a writer as well. So I write a lot of aspects of myself and things to do with my own recovery and my own health journey and all this kind of stuff and just include it in the inner thoughts of the character, and I find that creative. There's just that works for me. I've made my own little, well, not little. I've made my own kind of divination tool that's made of symbols of something that my cousin had drafted years ago. So it's all kinds of things, but I feel like the more you delve into what speaks to you personally and the more I don't even say want to work with it, but you infuse some joy or something. However, your love language and spiritual language might be very different, but if you're listening to what is important to you, you will end up having a rich you'll get it should be or would imagine it will be a rich sandbox. So there's that. Something else I was thinking about is the quality of delusional thought and that of radical interpretation or radical willful interpretation of what you are experiencing as a human being. And it seems like at times they can be a fine line there between of deciding the reality that you wish to be in is the only reality that is going to exist and being told that it isn't that way and not accepting it. I don't know. I feel like there's something there is an interesting point and when getting into that radical zen space of almost not beingness of things and just observing it, but I I've there's a lot of I've heard a lot of people talking about setting intentions and manifesting and that kind of the fake it till you make it. So believing in the reality, seeing what is not there yet. Totally get that. I'm very much into that, especially about the planet. But the idea of just willfully only seeing what you believe must be true, crossing into when it just isn't, and yet that belief is held despite that. I guess that's kind of the point between just belief and delusion. Anyway, if somebody has thoughts on that, I don't it's not exactly an easy topic to necessarily discuss, but it seems like it's something that folks in the self-aware and awake community, it might be helpful for us to really get real about what is the line of delusion and how do we show that to each other in safe, loving ways? Because I think living in delusion is not actually living in a place of joy. And if whatever is one's most authentic place, hopefully that's where you're going and not something else. All right. The other thing I thought I'd talk about was money and spirituality and the spiritual community. And that it feels kind of tricky to me because I in my heart of hearts live in a post fiat currency world anyway, and I'm so tired. I feel like money people that if humanity could quit, just didn't have to think about money, like the basics were taken care of, and that much energy was taken away from that obsession or having to deal with it every fucking day because you can't get around without it. You're just like, all right, it's all just monopoly money. And can we just get down to actually living our lives? How much extra things we could do. Anyway, that is not the reality we live in right now, although I am determined to find ways to get there to a post fiat currency world. I mean, I think we're actually already in it, but in a very kind of uh, it feels it feels like there are way more elegant ways for us as a planet to do this than we are currently right now, which feels like just paddling or drowning or something. So, compensation for spiritual work. It's kind of like religion and money, right? I've definitely supported folks with coin of the realm, and I tend to call it that. It's like this is coin of the realm because oops, that is a way of showing thanks and gratitude and support, although it just feels so unsophisticated compared to what we could be doing. But I f- there's not really any kind of standardization because one's spirit and one's heart, only each one of us could try and put dollar amounts or any kind of value on it. So uh, I do struggle sometimes, though, with wanting to support and wanting to live a very spiritual life in which I can give spiritual gifts all the time and it not have to be tied to coin of the realm in any way. Not that coin of the realm is bad or evil, although I do actually think there are some qualities to it that are they seem pathological or they seem to bring out pathology, especially when coming from a place of scarcity. If it was everywhere, then I think we wouldn't have the same thing. I think we just perhaps a huge dynamic change of heart and mind for everyone. Now I've rambled for 12 minutes. So those are things I was thinking about and had wanted to introduce myself to anyone from Ilana's Method. I'm not in a lot of the live classes. I'm mostly with Ilana's Method for flexibility and strength. And I had initially thought that there would be a little more contortion in it since the pictures she posts some of them have contortion elements. But anyway, I am around and I'm I am very uh, let's see. One of my main focuses in addition to all that is of wanting to support other women, especially who have had a history that might be anything like mine. So, love any of you who might see this. And if you have comments, feedback, questions, or anything that I might talk about in the future, let me know. Thanks.